1. CISM, Certified Information Security Manager. ISACA's premier certification for information security managers, validating the ability to develop and manage an enterprise information security program. ISACA, Information Systems Audit and Control Association, the global non-profit administering CISM and setting IT governance and security management standards. 3. Information Security Governance, the framework of leadership structures, policies, and processes through which an organization directs and controls its security program. Information Security Strategy, a multi-year plan aligning the security program with business objectives and risk tolerance. Chapter 5. Information Security Program, the comprehensive set of policies, standards, procedures, controls, and resources implementing an organization's security strategy. Security Governance Framework, a structured approach defining accountability, decision-making, and oversight for security across the organization. Board of Directors, the senior oversight body receiving security risk reports and setting the organization's risk appetite. 8. Risk appetite, the amount of risk an organization is willing to accept in pursuit of its strategic objectives. Risk tolerance, the acceptable variation around the risk appetite before action must be taken to address the deviation. Information risk management, the process of identifying, assessing, treating, and monitoring risks to information assets. 11. Risk assessment, a systematic evaluation of threats, vulnerabilities, and potential impacts to prioritize security investments. 12. Threat, any potential cause of harm to an information asset, including external adversaries, internal actors, and natural disasters. 13. Vulnerability, a weakness in control systems or processes that could be exploited by a threat. 14. Inherent risk, the risk that exists before any controls are applied based solely on the nature of the business activity. 15. Residual risk, the remaining risk after controls have been implemented and risk treatment actions taken. 16. Key risk indicator, a measurable metric providing early warning when risk levels are approaching unacceptable thresholds. 17. Risk register, a centralized repository documenting identified risks, their ratings, treatments, owners, and review dates. 18. Quantitative risk analysis, assigning numerical values to risk probability and impact to calculate monetary risk exposure. 19. Qualitative risk analysis, categorizing risks using descriptive scales such as high, medium, and low based on expert judgment. Annual loss expectancy, ALE, a quantitative risk metric representing the expected monetary loss from a specific risk over 1 year. 21. Business impact analysis, an assessment identifying critical business functions, the impact of their disruption, and recovery priorities. Asset, any information system, data, or resource that has value to the organization and requires protection. Asset inventory, a comprehensive catalog of all information assets, including classification, ownership, and security requirements. 24. Data classification, categorizing information based on sensitivity and value to apply appropriate protection controls. 25. Information security policy, a high-level document stating management's security commitment, objectives, and requirements. 26. Security standard, a mandatory specification defining how policy requirements will be implemented across the organization. 27. Security baseline, the minimum set of security controls required for all systems within a defined scope. Chapter 28. Security Procedure. Detailed step-by-step instructions for performing specific security tasks consistently. 29. Security Architecture. The structural design of security control systems and processes protecting organizational assets. 30. Defense in depth. A layered security strategy using multiple independent controls to protect assets comprehensively. Security control. A safeguard or countermeasure implemented to reduce risk and protect information assets. 32. Preventive control. A measure designed to stop security incidents from occurring before they cause harm. 33. Detective control. A measure designed to identify and alert on security incidents after they have occurred. 4. Corrective control. A measure designed to restore systems and remediate damage after a security incident. 5. Compensating control. An alternative control providing equivalent protection when a primary control cannot be applied. 36. Control effectiveness. The degree to which a security control achieves its intended risk reduction objective. 37. Key performance indicator. A measurable value demonstrating how effectively the security program is achieving its objectives. 38. Security metrics. Quantitative measures used to evaluate the performance and effectiveness of security controls and programs. Security awareness training. Programs educating employees about security threats, policies, and their responsibilities. Security culture. The shared values, beliefs, and behaviors across an organization that shape how security is practiced daily. Incident management. The structured process for detecting, reporting, classifying, responding to, and resolving security incidents. 42. Incident response plan. Documented procedures for responding to specific types of security incidents efficiently and effectively. Incident response team. Designated personnel responsible for executing the incident response plan during a security event. Escalation. The process of notifying higher-level management or specialized teams when an incident exceeds defined thresholds. 45. Root cause analysis. An investigation method determining the underlying cause of a security incident to prevent recurrence. 46. Lessons learned. Post-incident documentation, reviewing what happened, how it was handled, and improvements for future response. 47. Business continuity management. Strategies and plans, ensuring critical business functions remain operational during significant disruptions. Recovery time. Objective, RTO. The maximum acceptable downtime before a critical function must be restored after a disruption. Recovery point. Objective, RPO. The maximum acceptable data loss measured in time from the point of the disruption. Crisis management. Coordinating organizational response to events that threaten operations, reputation, or personnel safety. 51. Third-party risk management. Assessing and managing security risks introduced by vendors, suppliers, and service providers. Vendor due diligence. Evaluating a third party's security posture before and during a business relationship. 53. Service level agreement. A contractual commitment defining security and availability expectations from a service provider. 54. Supply chain security. Managing security risks across the entire chain of suppliers and partners involved in delivering products. Identity and access management. managing digital identities and controlling access to systems and data throughout the identity lifecycle. Chapter 56. Privileged Access Management. Controlling, monitoring, and auditing access to privileged accounts and administrative functions. Principle of least privilege. Granting users and systems only the minimum access necessary to perform their functions. Separation of duties. Dividing critical tasks among multiple individuals to prevent fraud and reduce single points of failure. 59. Access review. Periodic examination of user access rights to verify they remain appropriate and aligned with job functions. C. Encryption. Converting data into an unreadable format to protect its confidentiality during storage and transmission and data loss prevention. Technologies and processes detecting and preventing unauthorized transmission of sensitive data. 62. Network security. Controls protecting the confidentiality, integrity, and availability of data across network infrastructure. 63. Cloud security. Controls and practices managing risk in cloud computing environments where traditional controls may not apply. 64. Application security. Integrating security into the software development lifecycle to reduce vulnerabilities in applications. 65. Vulnerability management. The continuous process of identifying, evaluating, and remediating security weaknesses in systems. 66. Penetration testing. Authorized simulated attacks, identifying exploitable vulnerabilities before malicious actors do. 67. Security Operations Center, a team of analysts, monitoring, detecting, and responding to threats in real time. 68. CEM, Security Information and Event Management, aggregating and analyzing log data to detect and investigate threats. Security monitoring, continuous observation of systems and networks to detect anomalies and potential security incidents. T. Threat intelligence, information about current and emerging threats, informing defensive decisions and control improvements. 71. Patch management, identifying, testing, and applying software updates to address known vulnerabilities across systems. 72. Change management, a controlled process for approving, implementing, and reviewing changes to IT systems and controls. Configuration management, maintaining documented and approved baseline settings for systems and security controls. 74. Audit, an independent examination of security controls and processes to verify effectiveness and compliance. 75. Compliance, meeting legal, regulatory, and contractual requirements for data security and privacy. 76. GDPR, General Data Protection Regulation, EU privacy regulation with significant implications for information security programs. 77. PCI DSS, Payment Card Industry Data Security Standard, requirements for organizations processing payment card data. 78. HIPAA, Health Insurance, Portability and Accountability Act, U.S. Healthcare Privacy Law requiring security controls for health data. 79. NIST Cybersecurity Framework, a voluntary framework providing standards, guidelines, and best practices for managing cybersecurity risk. 80. ISO 27001, an international standard defining requirements for establishing and maintaining an information security management system. 81. COBIT, Control Objectives for Information and Related Technologies, an ISACA framework aligning IT controls with business objectives. 82. Cybersecurity budget. Financial resources allocated to implementing and maintaining the Information Security Program. 83. Return on Security Investment, ROSI, measuring the financial benefit of security investments relative to their cost. E4. Security Program Charter, a formal document authorizing the security program and defining its scope, authority, and objectives. 85. CISO, Chief Information Security Officer, the executive responsible for leading the information security strategy and program. 86. Security Steering Committee, a cross-functional body providing governance oversight and strategic direction for the security program. 87. Executive reporting, communicating security program performance risks and incidents to leadership using business-relevant language. 88. Security Roadmap, a planned sequence of security initiatives and improvements aligned with strategic objectives and risk priorities. 89. Merger and Acquisition Security, assessing and integrating security programs when organizations merge or acquire new entities. Chapter 90. Security Investment Prioritization, allocating security resources based on risk exposure, business impact, and strategic alignment. 1. Zero Trust, a security model requiring continuous verification of every user device and transaction before granting access. Cyber Insurance, coverage protecting organizations from financial losses resulting from data breaches and cyber incidents. Regulatory Landscape, the collection of laws, standards, and regulations an organization must comply with in its operating environment. 94. Security Maturity Model, a framework measuring the progression of security capabilities from initial ad hoc practices to optimized operations. Capability Maturity Model, a framework assessing the level of process maturity for security program management. 96. Gap Analysis, comparing the current security state against a target framework or standard to identify improvement areas. 97. Security Roadmap Implementation, executing planned security initiatives according to timeline, priority, and resource allocation. 98. Cybersecurity Awareness Month, October annual campaign reinforcing employee security behaviors and organizational security culture. 99. CISM CPE, continuing professional education, the 120 hours required every 3 years to maintain CISM certification status. 100. CISM exam, ISACA's 150-question exam covering 4 domains: security, governance, risk management program, development, and incident management.